country and this city tries to get back to normal. We'll bring you updates on that unfolding situation in Brussels as well. But for now, back to the studio.
Okay, Max Foster, thank you very much for that coverage in Paris. We will talk to you very soon. Now, let's get some more insight into that tense situation we heard about in Brussels. Joining me now from the Belgian capital is Coolsaet. He is a professor of international relations at Ghent University. Thank you very much for being with us. Brussels is essentially shut down this weekend. There's no underground public transport. There's no football matches. Many of the restaurants, the bars, the cinemas have been told to shut early. No doubt the intelligence must be pretty strong for authorities to go to these extremes.
Yeah, well, on the one hand, the intelligence seems to be specific, but at the same time not specific enough to pinpoint the fugitives, and I'm speaking the plural because it seems that there is more than one guy who is being looked after. So it's specific, but basically it's too early to tell if how long this will last before that intelligence leads the investigators to the hardcore of the threat.
We're told it may last into the start of this working week. Can people in places like Brussels and Paris expect to get used to this sort of heavy security? Could this be the new normal?
Well, I do hope it will not become the new normal. It's, I would say, it's basically the second time in, I would say, 10 years that we have been living through this. But the scope of this really is unprecedented. I mean, never it happened before that, for instance, the most popular shopping street and shopping malls have been closed down, that the whole subway is being closed down. So the scope of the consequences, really, that's the first time. And I cannot imagine that this would become the new normal.
Yeah, we hope not. Just talk to us about Molenbeek. Why that particular area is such a hotbed for radicalized extremists?
Well, it is a very complex issue, and the portrayal of Molenbeek as the hotbed really does disservice to the people living over there. You know, basically, Molenbeek has been the 100 years ago, the Manchester, the industrial heart of Brussels, and then the factories left or closed down, and the workers became the first generation of the urban poor. And then you had the successive waves of migration and, you know, poor housing, but cheap housing, poor education, poor job perspectives. And for the last, I would say, 25 years, and I'm living really close by Molenbeek in a neighboring municipality, you have a very strong feeling of abandonment by authorities. You have a very strong feeling of no perspective. And what you hear the last couple of years among youngsters is so the sentiment, well, whatever endeavors we might make, whatever efforts we will make, we will never be accepted as full-fledged Belgians. And so this kind of racism and discrimination also plays into the head of a number of youngsters. And, you know, I mean, it is not really radicalization as we understand it. All those who have left, and from Molenbeek, I would say some 100 have left for Syria and Iraq starting in 2012. You know, their religious and their political knowledge is so superficial. I would call it rather a sort of new outlet for deviant behavior like drug trafficking or street gangs or juvenile delinquency. And now you have this on offer. Daesh offers you a kind of a new life. And this is so tempting for a number of youngsters facing this perception of no future.
Authorities certainly have a lot on their hands to deal with it, particularly in that region. Professor Coolsaet, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome.